Hi, and welcome to this short video to help you choose a medical aid. There are 4 parts for a medical aid that you need to understand. The hospital benefit, also known as a major medical expense, covers costs from admission to discharge in hospital. The day-to-day benefit helps you pay all out-of-hospital costs like doctors, chemists, dentists, and glasses. The chronic medication benefit helps you with the cost of medicines and treatments that you may have with certain chronic conditions. And lastly, some medical aids want members to stay fit and healthy, which reduces claims, and they offer various discounts and incentives. Please remember that the extent of your benefits and limits will determine the premium you are going to pay. So the more benefits and the greater your limits, the higher your premium. Choosing a medical aid is not an easy task. You should use the services of a broker like myself to help you. And it costs the same as doing it directly with a medical aid. But the ongoing service you get from a broker is way better than that from a call center. Here are some pointers that you need to consider when looking at private hospital benefits. Does the scheme limit the amount you can spend in hospital over a year? You don't know when you may be hospitalized or how much that will cost, so you should look to a plan with no overall annual limits. Does your medical aid pay 1 or 2 times the scheme rate? The scheme rate is a predetermined amount that medical aids pay for all procedures and treatments. Private providers generally charge 3 times the scheme rate. However, medical aids, apart from their top and most expensive plans, only pay 1 or 2 times that scheme rate. So you could have a shortfall with your in-hospital claims. Are there set co-payments for certain procedures that you may need to pay? More and more medical aids are adding member co-payments as a way of controlling costs. If you undergo these procedures, you will have to pay a predetermined amount yourself. It's highly recommended that in order to meet these hidden costs, you consider an additional top-up cover plan. They're not that expensive and they'll pay for any shortfall in co-payment you may face. Again, talk to a broker like myself when looking at buying a top-up plan. Will your plan cover you for casualty treatment? Treatment where you're not admitted to hospital, but you go home. Many plans use your day-to-day savings for casualty treatment, thus reducing your funds for further out-of-hospital costs that year. But there are schemes that will pay certain casualty treatment without using your savings. Some schemes will even pay for procedures done in a doctor's rooms. This is a great benefit when it comes to extending the buying power of your out-of-hospital savings. Lastly, more and more medical aids are making use of contracted network hospitals. If you agree to only use certain hospitals, you will get a discounted premium. And these hospitals are all well-renowned private hospitals. Day-to-day or hospital benefits. Medical aids either offer savings funds or stated benefits to help you pay for your day-to-day costs. Savings. In January every year you are allocated 12 months worth of savings contributions up front in a savings account. You then use these to pay your day-to-day costs within certain procedure and treatment limits. Any balance at the year end will roll over and be added to your next year's savings. More expensive plans offer a threshold benefit. Once your savings are used and your claims have added up to a predetermined amount, the medical aid will pay certain claims within certain limits for the rest of that year. These plans are obviously more expensive. Because certain members don't like the idea of savings and prefer to have defined benefits, some plans offer a set benefit per treatment, like 4 visits to a doctor and 3 specialist visits per year. You may also save for your own funds to help you with your day-to-day costs. And you can even use products like a debit health card into which you save from R100 a month upwards to generate those additional funds in case of high day-to-day costs. Chronic medication. All schemes must pay for chronic medication for 25 prescribed minimum benefit conditions. If your chronic medicine is listed on the scheme's formulary or list, your medicine will be paid. If not, some schemes will still help you with the cost, while others will require you to pay for that medicine. More expensive plans will also offer a wider coverage of chronic conditions and higher and more comprehensive medicine benefits. All medical aids can impose waiting periods. The Medical Schemes Act defines certain waiting periods, but the medical aid reserves the right to underwrite your application and will then advise you if they are to add to waiting periods, which can be up to 1 year. Fitness and wellness incentives. The lower the number of claims a medical aid must pay, the more stable that scheme will become. So medical aids offer incentives for members to remain fit and healthy. These incentives vary from gym subsidies to discounts for nutritional food, movies, holidays, holiday accommodation, and much more. The more you use these incentives, the greater your discounts will become. There is an additional cost for these programs, but they can be very well worth it. Some ideas to help you choose a medical aid. Choose a plan where you're prepared to use a network of providers. Costs are paid in full, and you have no threat of short-paid claims. Your premium is also discounted. Network plans can be about half the cost of other plans. Read the brochures, as they will help you understand what is and what is not paid for by the medical aid. Remember, it's called medical aid and not medical paid. You need to be aware of the exclusions as much as what is covered. Understand your benefits and limits for things like casualty, more expensive procedures done outside hospital, scans and MRI tests. Does the medical aid pay for preventative screening tests like blood pressure, mammograms? You need to join now. There's a thing called late joiner penalties only get higher the older you get. The Medical Schemes Act dictates that any person over the age of 35 needs to prove they've been on a medical aid before. The number of years that you prove you have had memberships, the lower your penalty will be. The maximum penalty is 75% of your monthly contribution. That's almost double. And the most important, use a broker. Don't go into this field alone. It's a real can of worms. You need professional advice from someone like myself to help you pick the medical aid that will suit your needs and pocket.